Hello everyone, welcome to our podcast. My name is Andin and this is my partner. Hi, my name is Gaby. So in here we'll talk about Middle Ages literature. Before we dive into tomorrow, it's Monday, right? Midterm exams. Totally, Surabaya is this hot and now I'm studying about exam tomorrow. Don't worry, Gaby, because it's the same here. And hope our listeners are ready and don't be like us. Podcasting first and then coming cramming tonight. Amen to that. Let's get smart about Middle Ages literature before midterm exam hits. Surabaya feels really hot today, doesn't it, Anin? Yeah, totally agree. Honestly, on this hot day, I just wanna sleep on my bed and do nothing all day. Well, me too actually, but unfortunately, there's something we need to discuss right now. Yeah, unfortunately. So, Gaby, to make it fast, what is the first thing we need to talk about regarding to our topic today? What we'll talk first is about the context of Middle Ages literature. So yeah. As far as I know, we can divide the historical context into two main things, right? Yeah. The first is the time periods, and the second is the societal influences. Exactly. The Middle Ages last from about 500 until 1500 ED and was divided into three periods: early, high, and late Middle Ages, each with different developments in society and culture. So it was shaped by falling empires, rising kingdoms, feudalism, and church influence, with regard social rules, religions pervading daily life, and themes centers on life and death. So, what about societal influence then? Society was structured by feudalism and church domains with fixed rules, kings, nobles, knights, peasants, and religion shaped daily life. So, education and literature. So, to sum it up, Middle Ages literature was deeply tied to its turbulent history and rigid social structure, especially the church cube rule. Yeah, you got it. But anyway, I think you know enough. But about the key genres and styles of Middle Ages literature, right? Guys, it's your turn to explain that. Yeah, fair enough. Then I'll explain it for you and for the audience then. So, as far as I know, there are three types of it, right? Correct. The first one is epic poetry, and then allegory, and the last one is courtly love literature. Firstly, can you explain what epic poetry is? Sure. Well, epic poetry is a story about heroes, battles, and big events. One example is Chansons de Geste. It is stories about kings and knights. And another example is the Nibelungenlied. It is a German story about a hero named Siegfried. Oh, I see. So basically, poetry is all about heroes and action. Then, how about allegory? Meanwhile, allegory is a story with hidden meaning. For example, is Divine Comedy. It tells a journey through hell, purgatory, and heaven. But actually, it's about sin, punishment, and redemption. Another example is The Romance of the Rose. It talks about love, but in symbolic way, like a dream. Now I understand. It doesn't sound unfamiliar to me anymore. Then the last one. And the last one is the one you like the most. It is courtly love literature. It's actually just about romance, but more idealistic and dramatic. But for example, Well, for example, there is something like troubadour poetry and Arthurian legend. To make it dramatic, you can say that troubadour poetry are stories about one-sided love or love that is impossible to reach. So it is focused more on loyalty and devotion, even if the love never returned. Meanwhile, Arthurian legend are stories about King Arthur and his knights. They show values like honor, bravery, and loyalty.
Wow, that was a great breakdown. And then epic poetry for the action heroes, allegory for two deep symbolic message, and courtly love for all the dramatic romance. It really show how literature back then mixed entertainment with big life lesson. Perfect such to our next subtopic. Now, in our third subtopic, let's talk about some notable works from the Middle Ages literature. One famous work is Wolf, a story about a brave hero who fights monsters like Chandral and Dragon. It's considered one of the earliest and most important piece of English literature.
That sounds interesting. So it's not just about fighting, right? Does it also have a deeper meaning, maybe?
Yes, definitely. Beowulf is not only about heroism and bravery, but it also reflects values like loyalty, honor, and the struggle between good and evil. It shows how people in that time admired strong warriors and believed in fate and destiny.
I see. So what else can you tell me about other works from that period?
Another important work is The Canterbury Tales by Geoffrey Chaucer. It is a collection of stories told a group of travelers and on a journey to Canterbury. Each character tells a different story, so we can see a variety of perspective and social classes.
Also, it reflects real life in the Middle Ages.
Yes, exactly. It gives us a clear picture of medieval society, include the behavior, needs, belief, and daily life of people from different backgrounds, such as knights, priests, and merchants. It also interesting because Chaucer adds humor and style of great society.
That makes it even more interesting. Are there any, other famous works?
Yes, there is also the fine comedy Dante Alighieri. This book is very different because it describes a spiritual journey through three parts: hell, purgatory, and heavens. It is full of symbolism and moralism about sin, punishment, and redemption.
So, wow, that sounds deep. It is difficult to understand.
It can be challenging because it includes many religious and philosophical ideas, but it's very meaningful that they use this journey to show the consequence of humans' action and importance of living a good life.
So, all these works are not just stories, but they also teach lessons, right?
Exactly. In my opinion, these works are very meaningful because they show the value and belief of people in the Middle Ages. They help us understand how people thought about life, religions, and morality during that time.
I agree. These works are not only interesting story, but they also help us understand how people in the Middle Ages thought and lived. It's like learning history through literature because we can see their beliefs, values, and social norms reflection in the stories they created.
Yes, that's sure. Literature is a powerful way to explore the past, and these works continue to influence modern literature and culture even today.
But anyway, since we talked about literature, it is feels incomplete if we didn't talk about the author, right? Can I explain the prominent authors in that era?
Of course, I would like to know.
Well, the first is you already mentioned him. It is Geoffrey Chaucer. He is often called the father of English literature. In his work, the Canterbury Tales is actually renowned for the linguistic innovation and insightful portrayal of 14th century England.
His impact is pretty big, huh? No wonder he's called the father of English literature. Then, can you explain or mention other prominent author?
Yeah, sure. So the next is someone you already mentioned too. He's Dante Alighieri. You mentioned his work, The Divine Comedy, earlier, and I also mentioned it before when we talked about allegory. But did you know his work is actually considered a masterpiece of world literature back then? Because it is offering insights into medieval philosophy, theology, and politics.
Wow, not gonna lie. That's actually such a valuable knowledge I just got discovered from you, but can you mention other author that I haven't mentioned?
If you say so then. So there he is, Thomas Malory, an English writer with his famous work entitled Le Morte d'Arthur. It tells the story of the Arthurian legend that encapsulates the ideals of chivalry and knighthood.
That's interesting. So it's not just poetry and philosophy, but also legendary narratives shaping that era. I like how author seems to represent a different tool. Geoffrey Chaucer with social reality, Dante with spiritual and philosophical depth, and Thomas Malory with ideas of heroism. Now, let's move to our fifth subtopic, which is about literary themes in the Middle Ages. One of the most important themes is religions. Many stories focus on faith, God, heaven, and hell because religions play a central role in people's life at that time.
Yes, that's true. Religion was very important in people's life during that era because people depended on it for guidance and understanding of the world.
Exactly. So the church had a strong influence on society, so many literary books were written to teach religious values and guide people's behavior. Writers often want to remind readers about morality, sins, and the consequence of their action.
So literature was also used to teach people how to live a good life back then.
Yes, that's right. Literature was not just for entertainment, but also for education. Another common theme is heroism. Many stories tell about knights and heroes who show bravery, loyalty, and honor, especially in difficult situations.
And are these heroes always fighting in battles?
Okay, most of the time, yes, especially in epic stories or romance. However, heroism is not only about physical strength, it also includes more courage and such as standing up for justice, protecting others, and staying loyal to their beliefs or leaders.
I see. So that's actually so interesting. It sounds like they were seen as role models.
Okay, exactly. People admired these heroes and learned important values from their action. These characters often represent the ideal behavior that society expects from individuals.
Ah, I see, I see. So what other games were common during that era?
Another important theme is morality. Many stories were designed to teach lesson about what is right and wrong. These moral lessons were often connected to religions, showing the rewards for good behavior and the punishment for wrongdoing.
So every story has a message for the readers.
Yes, usually the stories were not only meant to entertain people but also to educate them and shape their character. Writers want readers to reflect on their action and improve themselves.
I understand now. Literature had a strong purpose of that time.
That's correct. Yes, in my opinion, these times are very meaningful because they reflect the belief, values, and of thinking of people in the Middle Age. They show us what was important in society at that time.
Yeah, I agree. Through literature, people could learn important lessons, understands their roles, and reflect on their actions. These themes also help us to understand their culture, their faith, and how they saw the world during that time. It's interesting how literature can give us insights into history and human behavior. Well, now it's the part we have been waiting for the most. The last part. Do you know what our last part is?
Mean telling me?
Of course, I don't mind. So, the last thing we will talk about is the legacy and influence of Middle Ages literature.
Yeah. My ideas you'll talk about is influence and impact on Renaissance literature and the adaptation in modern times.
Certainly. So Middle Ages literacy become the foundation or paved the way so that influenced the themes, narratives and styles of literacy in Renaissance era. Well, in the modern era, it is still studied and resonates with modern literature, film, and pop culture. For example, the Star Wars films that still use the concept of heroism.
I see. So overall, Middle Ages literature plays a crucial role as a foundation for later literary developments. Its themes, storytelling styles, and values continue to influence the Renaissance and remain relevant even in modern books. In Star Wars, in short, it's literally show how literature from that era still shape the way stories are told today. Sorry. So, as you said, that is our last topic. So, well, I didn't expect we could discover this much today, from history to the prominent authors. Even the legacy Middle Ages literature is actually deeper than it looks.
Yeah, it's not just old story, it really shows how people back then saw the world, their beliefs, and their values. Middle Ages literature is part of literature that we really need to understand as literature students.
Exactly, because somehow those ideas still influence literature today. That's quite fascinating in my opinion.
Right, it's quite fascinating. So I guess studying it isn't just about the past, but also about understanding the present. And it cannot be denied that what exists today is the result of development from the past.
I I couldn't agree more.
Alright, everyone. Thank you so much for listening and joining us today.
We hope this discussion helped you understand Middle Ages literature a little better.
So, see you in our next discussion. Bye bye.